Sometimes, a simple cup of coffee can change a life. Episode 2. Omar's Cafe. Connecting through coffee. Hello everyone. Welcome to Life Stories and Adventures, the podcast that helps you practice and improve your English listening skills step by step. My name is Adam, and I am very happy to welcome you back today. In our previous episode, we listened to Sarah's inspiring story about overcoming the fear of speaking English. Today we have a brand new adventure. We will follow the story of a young man named Omar. Omar lives in a sunny coastal town. He works at a small, cozy cafe near the beach. Omar is 30 years old. He is friendly, energetic, and always has a big smile on his face. He loves meeting people and making delicious coffee. However, Omar has a big challenge. Every summer, thousands of foreign tourists visit his town. They come from different countries around the world to enjoy the warm weather and beautiful beaches. Many of these tourists come into Omar's cafe to buy coffee, breakfast, and cold drinks. Almost all these international tourists speak English, but Omar's English vocabulary is very small. He only knows a few basic words like hello, thank you, and goodbye. Every time a foreign tourist steps into the cafe, Omar feels extremely nervous. When a customer speaks to him in fast English, Omar stands behind the counter feeling completely confused. He tries to guess what they want by looking at their hands and pointing at the menu. Sometimes customers ask for simple things like replacing cow's milk with oat milk or asking for no sugar in their cold coffee. Because of the language barrier, Omar often makes mistakes with their orders. He gives them the wrong coffee or forgets to add ice. Omar feels bad when this happens. He wants his customers to be happy. He wants to give them a great experience in his town. More than that, Omar wants to have real conversations with them. He wants to ask them about their countries, their travels, and their culture. He feels that he is missing out on wonderful human connections because he cannot express himself in English. One hot afternoon in July, an elderly man wearing a wide sun hat walks into the cafe. His name is David. David is a retired history teacher from Sydney, Australia. He is traveling around the world alone. David sits at a small table near the window. He looks tired from walking in the hot sun. Omar walks over to David's table to take his order. David smiles and says in a warm voice, "Good afternoon. Could I please have a cold iced coffee with no sugar and a piece of lemon cake?" Omar listens carefully, but David speaks quickly. Omar only understands the words cold coffee. He smiles nervously, nods his head, and goes back to the kitchen. 5 minutes later, Omar brings David a cup of steaming hot espresso with 2 spoonfuls of white sugar and a chocolate donut instead of the lemon cake. David looks at the hot cup, then looks at the chocolate donut and laughs gently. He does not get angry. Instead, David looks at Omar and says slowly, "Thank you, young man, but I think there is a small misunderstanding. It is very hot outside, so I asked for an iced coffee, not hot espresso." Omar sees the hot espresso and realizes his mistake immediately. He feels embarrassed. He blushes and says in broken English, "Oh, sorry. I am very sorry. My English, bad." David looks at Omar with kindness. He points to an empty chair across the table and says, "Please, sit down for a minute if you are not busy. Do not apologize. Learning a language is not easy." Omar hesitates for a moment, but the cafe is quiet, so he sits down. David takes a small notebook and a pen from his bag. He opens the notebook to a fresh page. David draws a small picture of a sun, and next to it he draws a cup of coffee with ice cubes. Under the drawing, he writes in big, clear capital letters, "Iced coffee." Then, David draws a steaming mug of hot water and writes under it, "Hot coffee." David turns the notebook towards Omar, smiles and says, "Look, this is iced coffee and this is hot coffee. Repeat after me, iced coffee." Omar looks at the simple drawings and smiles. He repeats out loud, "Iced coffee." David nods approvingly. "Excellent. Now, repeat, hot coffee." Omar says clearly, "Hot coffee." For the next 20 minutes, David turns the cafe table into a fun, informal classroom. He draws simple pictures of different drinks, food items, and daily expressions. He teaches Omar how to say "no sugar" with milk, takeaway, and the check, please. Omar learns more practical English in those 20 minutes than he did in years at school. Why? Because the environment is relaxed, the teacher is patient, and the words are connected to real-life objects right in front of him. Before David leaves the cafe, he hands the notebook page to Omar. He says, "Keep this paper behind your counter. Every time a tourist comes in, use simple words and do not be afraid to use drawings or hands. Language is just a tool to connect people. You do not need big words to build a bridge." Omar takes the paper with deep gratitude. He says, "Thank you, David. Thank you very much." From that memorable day, Omar changes his attitude towards English completely. He no longer feels panic when foreign tourists enter his cafe. He keeps a small pocket notebook right next to the cash register. On the first page, he writes down common coffee orders, food names, and polite greetings. Every morning before opening the cafe, he spends 10 minutes reviewing his notebook and practicing the words out loud. Whenever a customer speaks too fast, Omar does not freeze anymore. Instead, he smiles confidently, points to his notebook, and says politely, "Excuse me, can you speak slowly, please? I am practicing my English." To his great surprise, every single tourist reacts with warmth and kindness. They slow down their speech. They help him pronounce new words. Some customers even write down new English phrases in his notebook. The cafe becomes a unique spot in town. Tourists love coming to Omar's cafe, not just for the delicious coffee, but because they enjoy helping the friendly barista learn their language. Omar turns his biggest weakness into a charming point of connection. By the end of the summer season, Omar's English improves dramatically. He can take complex orders easily, answer basic questions about his town, and make pleasant small talk with travelers from all over the world. He makes dozens of foreign friends and receives lovely postcards from different continents. Omar's story teaches us a valuable lesson. You do not need a university degree or expensive language courses to start communicating in English. All you need is an open mind, a little bit of creativity, and the courage to say, Please speak slowly. I am learning. Before we finish our episode today, let us review some useful vocabulary words from Omar's journey. Listen carefully to these words and their simple explanations. Cozy, comfortable, warm, and inviting, especially describing a small room or building. Misunderstanding, a failure to understand something correctly, leading to confusion. Embarrassed, feeling self-conscious, ashamed, or uncomfortable in front of others. Gratitude, the feeling of being thankful and showing appreciation. Attitude, a settled way of thinking or feeling about someone or something. Barista, a person who prepares and serves coffee drinks in a coffee shop. Dramatically, in a very sudden, noticeable, and impressive manner. Try to practice these new words by using them in simple sentences this week. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode.